Why Findom and Onlyfans won't go away. It's actually something that is interesting because it's an industry that didn't exist before, and now it exists and it will never go away again. And the reason is this: because you have a tremendous amount. It is said that over 40% of men never procreate. You have to think about that. Over 40% of men never procreate. That means there is a huge testosterone and desire in many countries to procreate naturally, like men want to, and they have a constant production of testosterone and sperm that wants to procreate, but they cannot because they're not being chosen by women and they don't have the opportunity. And so a lot of these men will look for alternative means to have that biological desire be replaced. And one way to replace it is just by simping, basically giving away for free to women. And especially older guys also do that, because maybe they're in a relationship and they're not allowed to, have someone on the side or something, and that's the only way they can connect to maybe someone younger, etc. So what's going to happen is that as the world matures in terms of internet connectivity, is that you're going to see a lot of women from all over the world, from the Philippines, from India, from South America, starting to show themselves, not necessarily nude or something. It doesn't have to be necessarily. That's the thing about Findom. It doesn't really have to be in that way. And they're gonna show themselves more and more and more. And there's gonna be an never-ending opportunity for them to receive money by these guys just for being, who they are, or pretending sometimes also. But so let's just see the statistics. Like, if you have one beautiful girl and millions and millions of desperate men all over the world, then you for sure are going to find like 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 men out of those millions that would pay that woman for whatever she needs in terms of like shopping or whatever. And that's the reason also why OnlyFans works. And the thing is, it won't go away that easily because sex always sells, let's face it. And it's literally that mathematic discrepancy between availability of interesting or beautiful girls, maybe that are satisfying some kind of fetish, but on the other side, these millions of men that don't get to procreate but are starting to earn money. Because in a lot of countries, the floor is being raised, especially for medium educated men. The floor is being raised in terms of how much they're earning. Because in India, for example, 20 years ago, or in Asia or in South America, a lot of people would not have been relevant in terms of like international earning power. And now that floor is being raised all over the world, and you have beautiful girls all over the world, so you have the combination of these two, and also the English language being spreading more and more. You're going to have basically a few girls that are dedicating their time to this, earning a lot of money. And I, for one, support that, because I'm absolutely for libido empowerment, and it doesn't matter for men or for women. And I think that libido empowerment, this is actually the perfect libido empowerment for women. Tremendous size of potential audience, tremendous earnings potential without having to, sacrifice your morality, and at the same time, it's just gonna keep growing. And especially what's gonna happen also is that right now there's a lot of censorship and a lot of deboosting and a lot of control over what is allowed to be posted. But that in the next 2 or 3 years will change, because you're going to have decentralized social media. A lot of things are going to change in that way. And so when a woman comes and says like, I want to post this, before they said, nah, you can't do that. now you will be able to do that, and nobody will gatekeep that anymore. That means that a woman that only had 10,000 fans because she was limited by the platform will suddenly have millions of fans because she's not being limited anymore. So and it won't matter anymore what the law says, because the technology will transcend boundaries and laws. That's something that's definitely going to come. Technology is going to transcend boundaries and laws. That means even if, say, you were in Iran and Iran says you cannot do that, or in Philippines also it's illegal partially. So if in Philippines a girl would say, I want to do that, and the country says no, she can just post it anyway and then move to another country or something. And that wasn't possible before, because for a lot of reasons. So you're gonna see these changes happening, and I think it's exciting. It's not necessarily the best for family planning, maybe, but in general it's exciting because I support libido empowerment and independence, which means higher probability for sexuality and joy. Now, joy is another thing you have to ask yourself. Does this type of work really bring you joy? And I think a lot of people need to seriously look at whether that brings them joy or not. But it could be a good platform to do it in a way that brings you joy. You don't have to do it in a way that it doesn't bring you joy. And I for one, I would, if I were a girl, I would definitely take advantage of this whole thing, but in a kind of like a decent way that I feel a lot comfortable with, that truly brings me joy. And the combination of joy, I mean, there's so many men out there that are ready to give you money for doing nothing, for just existing, that I would just do whatever brings me joy. So whether that's, playing computer games or dressing up or whatever, I would just go that way 100%. And if you also learn not only libido empowerment but also toxic metaframing, you will also learn how to deal with toxic men very easily, which I talk about on this channel. So that's the future, and it's not gonna go away, definitely not. And I think platforms actually will have to accommodate to it, because it will get bigger and bigger. And right now OnlyFans is the only platform, and maybe Loyalfans, that really supports that. But it's gonna get bigger, so the other platforms will not be able to ignore it, really.